The capture of a Venezuelan-linked semi-submersible submarine by U.S. forces proved an unmistakable truth. The ocean no longer offers sanctuary to criminals, and American maritime dominance is absolute. This operation was not an isolated event. It was a key moment in a larger campaign to dismantle smuggling networks and choke off the funding of Venezuelan gangs like Tren de Aragua. In 2025, tensions were already high between the U.S. and Venezuela, turning the Caribbean into a contested battlefield disguised as open water. The U.S. Coast Guard and Navy escalated patrols, deploying a combined force of warships, aircraft, and attack submarines. The mission was clear: intercept vessels tied to drug trafficking, smash smuggling routes, and eliminate a major national security threat. This decisive escalation was necessary because smugglers did not pause. The tempo increased to stop hundreds of tons of cocaine from slipping through. Before the submarine's capture, the U.S. forces had already asserted their dominance in a major confrontation. A key incident involved U.S. forces sinking multiple Venezuelan smuggling boats. These boats had been given repeated warnings to stop, including flares and clear commands, but they pressed forward, daring U.S. forces to act. Their defiance was met with naval gunfire, and the ocean swallowed the vessels. This sinking sent a clear, final message across the Caribbean. American forces were not bluffing, and hesitation was gone. When orders were ignored, the response was conclusive, and smuggling boats went down. This series of aggressive and evasive maneuvers by Venezuelan vessels demonstrated the growing risks and the momentum of U.S. operations. U.S. forces, trained for this pressure, successfully apprehended or neutralized these threats in multiple cases, using cutters designed to chase fast boats, Navy frigates with advanced radar, and aerial drones for extended vision. This net of surface, air, and submarine power made escape almost impossible. The drama then moved beneath the surface. Intelligence flagged a Venezuelan-linked semi-submersible narco sub attempting to slip past Coast Guard patrols. These vessels are the cartel's prized tools, specifically designed to ride just below the surface and evade detection, allowing them to transport tons of cocaine with stealth. The narco sub, a symbol of cartel ingenuity and impunity, was heading into the ocean's vastness, believing its stealth guaranteed safety. The stakes were high. One successful journey of a multi-ton shipment could empower criminal networks for years. The U.S. response was overwhelming and layered. Attack submarines were deployed alongside multiple warships, tracking and boxing in the vessel. Aerial assets painted the sea with surveillance. The operation was a demonstration of dominance, with sonar locking on, cutters maneuvering above, and helicopters hovering in support. This integrated force coordination proved that the semi-submersible could not escape the net that included aircraft, destroyers, and a submarine beneath the surface. The vessel's evasive maneuvers were useless. The Coast Guard and Navy successfully intercepted and captured the vessel through coordinated operations involving aerial, surface, and submarine assets. They forced the narco sub to surface.
Before we get to that, I need your help. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. So I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe and help me out.
This successful seizure reflected years of specialized training, including helicopter fast roping and precision gunnery to disable engines. Boarding teams surged forward, and sailors, trained for high-risk interdictions, arrested the crew. They found drug cargo and communications equipment, and the resistance crumbled under overwhelming force. What might have been a clean getaway turned into a public loss for Venezuelan smuggling networks. The image of U.S. forces standing over subdued traffickers on the deck of their own semi-submersible was unforgettable proof that, even undersea, there was nowhere to hide. This humiliation of exposure shattered the smugglers' myth of invisibility and destroyed the image of invincibility they relied on. The capture turned the vessel into a floating confession that crime could be caught and publicly dismantled. Inside the captured Venezuelan-linked vessel, U.S. forces found a significant cargo of narcotics, revealing the large scale of the smuggling mission. Reports indicate such narco subs often carry several tons of drugs, with some seizures involving over 8 tons. more than 17,000 pounds, of cocaine or mixed narcotics. The packages were stacked with ruthless efficiency, transforming the vessel into a floating warehouse of narcotics. Such a large quantity of cocaine, often bound for U.S. markets by gangs like Tren de Aragua, lays bare the industrial scale of transnational smuggling. The immense financial blow was severe, as building a submarine costs millions, and the loss of 8 tons represents billions evaporated from the cartel's balance sheet. The captures contributed to escalating maritime tensions. Venezuela, through President Nicolas Maduro and government officials, immediately accused the U.S. of piracy, extrajudicial actions, and illegal aggression. Maduro framed the U.S. naval actions and strikes as an unprecedented threat to national sovereignty, accusing Washington of attempting regime change under the guise of counter-narcotics operations. However, the U.S. described its actions as legal interdictions against narcotics trafficking in international waters. This rhetoric could not disguise the practical consequences. The submarine's loss was a fact no speech could erase, and Venezuelan criminal networks scrambled to adapt. The public spectacle of the capture cut through the propaganda, exposing their failure and the fragility of their partnership with state actors. The humiliation of this exposure continues to resonate. For the smugglers, the capture was a personal defeat. Their immense effort was reduced to a public spectacle of futility. Within criminal circles, the illusion of being untouchable was destroyed in seconds, a loss of reputation that is difficult to rebuild. The humiliation extended to the financiers and cartel bosses who bankroll these projects. When a submarine is captured and towed in daylight, their complicity is exposed, and they are revealed as funders of a failed mission. The intelligence gained from this single capture is staggering. GPS systems log routes, and communication devices carry traces of encrypted messages, all of which can map back to suppliers and distributors. Crew members hold knowledge of the clandestine assembly sites in remote coastlines. By seizing just one submarine, law enforcement peeled back layers of the smuggling network, transforming the vessel into a Rosetta Stone for decoding wider trafficking patterns. This provides intelligence that tightens the noose around the logistical backbone of transnational narcotics trafficking. The successful interception provides proof of U.S. mastery over underwater detection and control. U.S. forces employ layered surveillance, long-range patrol aircraft, satellites tracking anomalies, drones identifying water disturbances, and, most critically, sonar networks from ships and submarines that detect acoustic signatures. This integrated surveillance stripped away the stealth that smugglers relied on. Every intercepted narco sub is proof that American surveillance outpaces even the most innovative cartel engineering. In the end, this interception strongly proves that even advanced smuggling tactics, such as using semi-submersible submarines designed for stealth, ultimately collapse when confronted by the persistence, technological superiority, and coordinated efforts of American maritime forces at sea. The ocean, once the smugglers' strongest ally, became their most dangerous arena. This is a strategic defeat through persistence. Sustained dominance does not just prevent smuggling now, it dismantles confidence in smuggling for the future. The capture is not just a tactical success, but a deliberate act of humiliation engineered to destabilize criminal networks. It is a psychological shockwave that proves American forces control the undersea domain, and that the ocean will not be a safe highway for their trade. This takedown was just the start. The fight isn't finished. On your screen is the next video. Click the video, it opens right away, and you'll see the cartels crushed even harder.